So, without a doubt, the comma is perhaps one of the more difficult marks of punctuation to use. So, in this moment, I want to turn over to the punctuationguide.com. This is a great website that reviews all kinds of marks of punctuation from the period, the question mark, the exclamatory, exclamation mark, comma, semicolon, colon, dash, m dash, n dash, parenthetical, dot, 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 dot. But here, I want to focus on the comma because, as this website astutely points out, the comma is the punctuation mark most likely to cause angst. So within this module, then, you're going to encounter, and I'm going to focus on, four specific kinds of comma usages that are problematic. And to begin, I just want to note that the comma is not a difficult concept, it's an imaginary concept. They don't exist except in writing to help the reader understand how other content relates to other content. So, for our purposes, we're really just going to focus on four concepts here. And these four specific usages, we have non-essential and essential elements, or how to restrict content in a sentence, positives, introductory phrases, and coordinate or equal adjectives. And just to take a minute to take a breath, because these four ideas are so simple, so pervasive, but I think in a lot of way, what we call them is kind of a way of making things seem a little bit more difficult than they really are. So you don't really need to know what these things are by definition or name, but by usage. So in the next four videos, I want to take time to talk about each one of these individually so you can see how they function in a sentence, in speech, in writing, so you feel more comfortable with each one of them. To do this, though, we're going to need to talk about some, well, we're going to call them boring things, I guess, to talk about how a sentence works. So I'll give you some advice. If you already feel pretty comfortable about how to distinguish independent and dependent clauses or simple, compound, complex sentences, and you feel comfortable with that, go ahead and skip the second video in this series because I'm going to spend time getting into the meat and potatoes of what a sentence is and how it works. And if you feel comfortable with that, you probably don't need it. However, if you're not sure what an independent or dependent clause is, or how a sentence is combined with other sentences or dependent clauses, or if those words just seem kind of foreign or you want to brush up on it, definitely watch the second video in this series and kind of figure out what are these terms. Because in the other four videos on these usages, I'm going to call on those terms to explain how a sentence functions and how it changes, how a comma can do certain things and affect certain changes to make it readable for your audience.